Dear friends, have you ever stopped to wonder if being too friendly might actually be working against you? We are often taught that kindness is a virtue, that we should be polite, helpful, and accommodating to everyone. And indeed, kindness is essential. However, what happens when that kindness turns into self-sacrifice, into an endless loop of saying yes to everyone except ourselves? Picture this. You are always available, always putting others first, always ensuring that no one is disappointed. Yet, at the end of the day, you feel drained, unappreciated, and even resentful. Does this sound familiar? In this discussion, we will explore the Buddhist perspective on boundaries, self-respect, and the delicate balance between kindness and self-preservation. We will delve into why overextending ourselves for the sake of being liked is a dangerous path, and more importantly, how we can reclaim our peace, our energy, and our sense of self-worth. Through real-life examples, parables, and Buddhist teachings, we will uncover the deeper wisdom behind knowing when to say yes and when to say no. By the end of this discussion, you will have the tools to give freely without the fear of being drained and live a life that honors both you and those around you. Let me share with you a simple story. There was once a beautiful river that flowed endlessly, giving water to all the trees, animals, and fields it passed. But one day, the river flowed into a barren desert. It poured its water into the dry land, but the soil could not absorb it. The river, once full of life, became empty, drained, and purposeless. Its gifts were wasted. This is what happens when we give too much of ourselves to those who do not value our kindness. We expect appreciation, but instead, our efforts evaporate into thin air. The more we give, the emptier we feel. Like the river flowing into the desert, we must learn to redirect our energy to where it is truly valued. The Buddhist teachings remind us that the constant search for approval is a form of self-inflicted suffering. It is an illusion that leads to endless disappointment. The moment we stop seeking validation from others, we reclaim our inner peace. Just as the river must flow into fertile land to sustain life, we must channel our energy into relationships and endeavors that nourish us rather than drain us. Ask yourself, are you pouring your energy into barren soil? Are you sacrificing your well-being for people who do not truly appreciate your kindness? Boundaries are not walls that separate us from others. They are guidelines that protect our inner peace. They ensure that we do not lose ourselves in the demands of those around us. In Buddhist philosophy, self-respect is seen as a natural extension of wisdom. If we do not respect ourselves, how can we expect the world to do so? Imagine a grand tree standing tall in a vast forest. Its roots run deep, anchoring it to the ground. When storms come, the tree sways but does not fall. It does not allow itself to be uprooted by the wind. This tree symbolizes a person with strong boundaries. Just as the tree does not let every passing storm dictate its movement, we must not allow the changing demands of others to uproot our sense of self. Consider two employees. One says yes to everything, constantly staying late, taking on extra tasks, and sacrificing their well-being. Over time, they become exhausted and resentful, yet no one notices their suffering. The second employee, equally hardworking, sets clear boundaries. They do their job well but know when to say no. They prioritize their time and energy, and as a result, they are respected and valued. Who do you think thrives in the long run? The answer is clear. Boundaries are not selfish. They are an act of self-care that allows us to give meaningfully and sustainably. Saying no feels uncomfortable because we fear disappointing others. But in Buddhism, we learn that suffering comes from attachment to expectations, to approval, and to the idea that we must always be agreeable. A monk once lived atop a hill, offering wisdom to those who sought it. One day, a villager came to him for advice, but after listening, the monk gently said, "I cannot help you any further today. You must find the answers within yourself." The villager was shocked. "But I came all this way. Why are you turning me away?" The monk smiled and said, "By saying no, I am giving you the gift of self-reflection. If I say yes to every request, I will deplete my own wisdom." This story illustrates that saying no is not rejection. It is an affirmation of our own energy and purpose. The next time you feel obligated to say yes, ask yourself, am I agreeing out of genuine willingness or out of fear? Will this decision honor my well-being? When we learn to say no mindfully, we open the door to more meaningful connections and a balanced life. Let me add another story here, a real-life example. There was a woman named May who was always the go-to person in her workplace. If someone needed help, they would call May. If there was a last-minute task, it landed on May's desk. She was known as the nicest person, but inside, she was exhausted. One day, a colleague asked her to stay late for a task that wasn't even hers. For the first time, May said, "I appreciate that you trust me, but I won't be able to help tonight." The colleague was surprised but found another way to get the task done. To May's amazement, the world did not end. She realized that saying no didn't mean she was unkind. It meant she was finally valuing herself. A quote from the Buddha comes to mind: "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This wisdom reminds us that our energy is not infinite, and we must preserve it for what truly matters. True power does not come from being endlessly available or seeking approval. It comes from respecting ourselves. When we set boundaries, we attract relationships that truly value us. When we stop pouring our energy into barren soil, we make space for deeper connections. So, dear friends, let us strive for balance. Let us be kind, but not at the cost of our own well-being. Let us say yes when it aligns with our values and no when it protects our peace. In doing so, we create lives filled with true respect, inner harmony, and lasting fulfillment.